Time to see what the mad scientist Slade has got prepped for us today. That's right, the Skaven coming in hot here with some stuff. Yes, it's Throt, who you don't see super often actually. Alongside Goric here, we've got a Laura Plaguecaster and some chaff on loan from Snitch. We've got 5 elite Death Runners, the ROR not being included for some reason, and the Wolf Rats with poison as well. Some of them all Vanguarded out here fully behind the Chaos Dwarfs, who themselves, Goric and Astragoth, got 2 Death Shrieker rockets, massive Hobgoblin Cutthroats, and some Chaos Dwarf warriors, including the Blazing Beards. And that's basically it. Yeah, pretty straightforward melee build for the most part. Of course, with these 2 artillery pieces, they are going to open fire on the single entities of the Skaven. Throt getting in here with Goric, his creator, I guess? Goric is not the creator. Throt's the creator. Goric is the creation, obviously. But, yeah, Throt's, you don't see him super often because generally the Packmaster is better with other Lord options. Throt does give you some similar uses, though. He's got the Summon of Rat Ogres, which is quite nice. Of course, he can also heal. And give extra melee attack to Molder Monsters. Only has 2 uses of that, but you don't see it super often. I don't know, with that percentage-based healing now, it might be pretty good, but also Creature Killer gives AoE bonus versus large, and yeah, he's on his own Brood Horror, which will do some nice damage, but the Night Runner's going to reveal themselves, clash with the Goblins. Goblins throwing their daggers the wrong direction a little bit there, but that's fine. As the Night Runners get in there, Death Runners even, not Night Runners. Death Runners definitely going to just tear through these Hobgoblin Infantry. The Chaos Dwarf Infantry, if they get good contact, they'll also trade very well against. But here, you can see the magic from Astragoth there. Yeah, he's got the Ash Storm going off. Some units here doing fire damage will benefit from that, including himself in particular. But obviously, does the Skullcracker actually deal fire damage? It does not, so really only benefiting himself there. But with the Rat Ogre summon, now unfortunately Goric is tangled up with these the Chaos Dwarf Warriors, but yeah, a little bit of friendly fire from the grenades there, taking out those Death Runners, also going to do some damage to the Cutthroats, but that's totally fine. Summon pushing through, the Blazing Beards were able to get taken out there. Death Runners doing a great job trading value into that engagement, but Goric, of course, can be healed. We see Warp Frenzy and Sword of Antiheroes being used on himself there. Massive weapon strength, up to 900 weapon strength. Absolutely huge buff uptime. Unfortunately, didn't really have a lot of great single entities to get in contact with while that was active, but it's another possible timing push that he could even layer in with anti-large, right? But anyway, out here in the distance, Chaff just getting chased off by the Hobgoblin Sneaky Gits. Cutthroats who are going to capture the center point. This is, of course, Conquest. But let's see here. Getting back over to these important units. Throt going to be putting some bonus versus large out, chasing that Skullcracker. Yeah, bonus versus large also, if you can get it on the Death Runners as they're surrounding those Demon Trains, will do quite nice. Even the Death Runners not with that will do quite nice in this round on the Demon Trains, as we've seen these Death Runners here putting a good hurt on the Death Shrieker rocket launcher. Of course, both the rocket launchers, not nearly as good of a combatant, obviously, as the actual train, the Skullcracker here. But Throt right now, kind of chasing it around, doing some good damage. We're going to see another summon coming from the Plague Priest, just helping to sustain some unit models here with these Death Runners as they fight it out. Astragoth, again, going to face the armor-piercing damage and that Weeping Blade, fighting Goric. Excuse me, Goric, without the uptime of those buffs, isn't going to do as well here, but he'll certainly perform decently. 70 melee attack, 500 plus weapon strength, almost 600 weapon strength. That Frenzy active has taken a lot of damage, but putting a hurt on Astragoth for sure, which, of course, Astragoth cannot heal. We should check here. Yeah, it looks like 1 Remoldered has been used already, so Slade, once it's off cooldown, definitely wants to pop the second one as soon as possible to try and sustain Goric here. Give him a nice little melee attack buff, but right now he is at risk of getting straight killed. Uses that Evisceration maybe at the wrong time. Ooh, Astragoth doesn't punish him there for it, but Goric does get that Warp Frenzy right as he's routing, unfortunately. But let's see, Throt continuing to fight here. The Terror for him is being quite useful so far in helping to terrify away some of these various units, but yeah, Plague Priest gets tangled with Astragoth. That's not great. Throt's going to switch directions there. kind of leaves his Death Runners get run over by the train a little bit, which is most fortunate for them. But him and the Plague Priest, 2v1 versus Astragoth. Can he finish off the Chaos Dwarf Lord of Lords? Definitely a very scary combatant. Throt, of course, with that fire damage is going to do extra damage just straight up to Throt, because Astragoth, of course, fire damage with regeneration, right? That standard regeneration trait does give Throt weakness to fire on the Brood Horror. So there's that. But a handful more Death Runners chilling in here as well. Some coming back from route there. We've also got some Skaven slaves trying to cap the objective very sneakily. Get some good work done there. Make sure that the points start to swing in Slade's favor. But a nice rear charge as Goric fights sort of, Crown of Command, actually. Is that from himself? Yeah, popping it on himself to make himself unbreakable momentarily. Also pops that Warp Blade there, the Sword of Anti-Heroes. Wait, no, that's Flaming Sword of Ruin. Anyway, yeah, he did pop Warp Blade, though, and able to get some good damage in, especially on the train. Pretty much, yeah, actually kills the train straight up. And Throt getting rounded here by the rockets is unfortunate. He will, again, take extra damage from that because they deal fire damage at range. But will they be able to finish him off? We'll have to wait and see. Looks like he is coming back from route already. And does he still have that remoldered? Or did he pop that? No, it looks like he popped that during that uptime to keep Goric alive there along with the Crown of Command. So definitely some nice play there by Slade. Get as much value as he can out of Goric, squeeze it, and manage to get 2,000 damage value. Didn't quite finish off Astragoth, but was able to finish off the Demon Train, of course. We do have some Hobgoblin Cutthroats over here, again, attacking the point. Going after some Skaven slaves there, trying to make sure they can't capture it. So we'll keep that in the background as the fight goes on here. But Astragoth now chasing, desperately trying to finish off, but suddenly realizes with the summon kind of blocking his support here, he's against multiple single entities with Death Runner support. It's not where he wants to be, so he's going to hop on out of there. Going to get chased a little bit by Throt. Throt's going to get an attack animation. The Death Runners move in. That Weeping Blade definitely helps, even though most of Throt's damage is AP, rather. 149 non-AP damage, even still. You know, basically doubling the amount that's going to do, more or less. It's quite helpful. Astragoth also just taking the attacks from the Death Runners into surrounds, not where he wants to be, but does increase weakness to fire there. That's going to put a big hurt on Throt. 60% weakness to fire. Does not want to get hit by Astragoth's animations while that's active, but he gets a cheeky little rear charge here, risking it for the biscuit. Does manage to break Astragoth while only taking about one hit in return there. That could have been an absolute disaster, but he breaks Astragoth's leadership. Pulls up and around away from those infantry units. Plague Priest still chilling here, and of course Skaven, the Death Runners ran over to deal with the sneaky gets and help control that objective. Of course, this is Conquest, so there's no like attacking rules or anything. Slade can absolutely just leave all of these infantry over here if they're successful, while he chases Astragoth off and just runs around with the rest of his stuff. But yeah, right now trying to avoid as best he can these Chaos Dwarf Warriors, as they are still pretty healthy, and just to finish off Astragoth. That's kind of the objective at this point. So let's fast forward as this goes on. Looks like the Death Runners were successful there in beating back that sneaky git. Eventually the Hobgoblins rout. Yeah, Astragoth does get killed, indeed. And with that, the balance power is going to swing in Slade's favor. We'll continue fast forwarding as he has his single entities start to cycle charge. Throt can regenerate quite a bit of HP now, but Chaos Dwarf Warriors are no slouches in terms of their combat prowess. Chaos Dwarf player, though, is going to throw in the towel once Slade caps the objective. He doesn't feel like, I guess, he can attack the objective and take it back in time, or win in terms of combat in time. So, you know, I kind of think maybe he had a chance to win. It's possible that Throt has bad RNG against the Chaos Dwarf Warriors, and they can kind of wear him down, but it definitely would take too long. And if he were to assault the point, maybe he could push those Skaven infantry off and actually capture it. It's possible. But hard to say. Don't totally disagree with the quit, but also maybe still had a chance to win. But regardless, Slade doing a great job here with the absolutely massive ambush of Death Runners. Going to be very effective at blending through those infantry here. Goric also got a lot of buffs, managed to get a lot of value, punching high value targets. Love to see that. Throt also a fairly unusual pick, but quite solid. Plague Priest, in addition to his summons, also gets 800 value, so probably pays for himself. Of course, Astragoth is an absolute beast, a true force of nature in combat, 3,500 damage value on him, no surprises there. The rest of the build, I would imagine some things struggle. Yeah, only one of the Chaos Dwarf Warriors actually ends up paying for themselves. The Cutthroats, pretty high kill totals, and I guess pretty much paying for themselves also in many cases, which is nice to see, but not totally. You do have to get through the chaff in a matchup like Skaven, but still. Obviously, the Demon Train was quite effective, and the rocket launchers, one of them pays for itself, the other does not. So, got a mixed bag there for the Chaos Dwarfs, but ended up being pretty close. Credit to Slade there. Like I said, that ability usage on Goric, I think, in that critical moment was probably what ended up pulling the battle out for him. So really nice to see that. Hopefully you all enjoyed. If you do like this sort of content, be sure to like and subscribe. Hit that bell notification button. Every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.